Welcome again to the Purposes of God. I am your host, Doug Krieger, for this special 29-part video series on the purposes of God. Again, we can be found at www.the-tribulation-network.com. This again is video number 10 in this series, The Purposes of God. And video 10 again is about the United States of America. Earth, Moon, and the Sun circles. America and Jerusalem. The Washington Monument to the Temple Mount is 5,133 nautical miles, and from the Statue of Liberty to the Jerusalem Temple Mount, it is 5,706.22 statute miles. Of interest is the fact that 5,040 plus 666 equals 5,706 statute miles to the Statue of Liberty. Again, 5,040 divided by 2 is 2520. And when looking at Washington, D.C., we find out that its coordinates are 77 west meridian and 38.5 latitude. This is interesting in that the 5,133 nautical miles can be calculated by multiplying 77, the number of completion, times the number of a man, 66.6, which will give you 5,133, which is the number of nautical miles from Washington, D.C. to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, according to global positioning satellite technology. Plato and the 5040, or 2,520, the sacred cubit number, times 2 equals 5,040. The Statue of Liberty is, as we have said, 5,706 statute miles from Jerusalem, or 5,040 plus 666 will give you 5,706. Babylon has fallen, has fallen. That was in the past, 539 BC, and yet future Babylon the Great, that future world city, political, commercial, and religious Babylon of the Antichrist, will equal 666. So the past has fallen, and the future is yet to fall. New York and the Statue of Liberty, the utopian land, freedom and liberty. These are laws based on Plato's philosophy in his work Laws, outlining the mutual benefit shared between citizen and state. This value of Plato was enshrined in his number 5,040. This is considered Plato's perfect commercial capital city of Magnesia, dedicated to world commerce, 5040. And again, interestingly enough, the Statue of Liberty from the Temple Mount in Jerusalem is 5040 plus 666. Plato, Statue of Liberty and Jerusalem, and the number 11. 5040 is a factorial of 7, a highly composite number, a superior highly composite number, a colossally abundant number, and the number of permutations of 4 items out of 10 choices. 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 will give you 5040. Plato mentions in his Laws that 5040 is a convenient number to use for dividing many things, including both the citizens and the land of ideal city-state Magnesia, into lesser parts. He remarks that this number can be divided by all the natural numbers from 1 to 12, with the single exception of the number 11. 11 in Scripture is the 11th or younger horn of Daniel chapter 7 verses 20 through 25 and Daniel chapter 8 verse 9 through 14. Here we see described in both of these chapters what we call Greco-Roman man, the future Antichrist at the end of days, the 11th horn of Daniel, the 11th or younger horn of Daniel. Plato's repeated insistence on the use of 5040 for various state purposes is so evident that it is written, Plato, writing under Pythagorean influences, seems really to have supposed that the well-being of the city depended almost as much on the number 5040 as on justice and moderation. Plato's citizen and state connection with 5040, the ideal number of citizens for his hypothetical city called Magnesia, brings the material creation and citizen in relationship with the abstract, the state, the seen and the unseen via 5040, based on the sacred cubit. 5040 divided by 2 is equal to 2520. The decimal points of any number that divides unequally by 7 are 0.142857, 142857, so forth. 360 divided by 7.142857 is equal to 50.40 times 100, Plato's 5040 Magnesia from the book Laws. And it will also be pointed out that his idyllic city Magnesia is juxtaposed over and against Atlantis. Atlantis would be considered, according to John Michel, as Babylon the Great. Magnesia would be likened unto the New Jerusalem. Time, distance, creator plus creation. 5040, design based on 25.20 and the number 4. 5040 is the sum of the radii, 1/2 of a diameter of both the Earth and the Moon will equal 5040 in miles. Therefore, 3960 plus 1080 is equal to 5040. 3960 is the radius of the Earth, and 1080 is the radius or half of the diameter of the Moon. Together, these equal 5040, all in statute miles, based, if you would, on the sacred cubit of 2520. The Creator has designed the creation and the creature 3 plus 1, the triune God 3, plus man equals 4. There are 4 living creatures, the 4 corners of the earth, and the heavenly Jerusalem is 4 square, the creature plus the Creator. Time and distance are unalterably connected with God and His creation, His creatures. Math demands divine design in time and distance. And here you see the throne room of God with the 4 living creatures. Now let's take a look at the diameter and radii of Earth and Moon, and their distance, and the minutes of a week in time related to 25.20 sacred cubit inches. Here we see that the sum of the diameters of the Earth, the diameter of the Earth being 7,920 statute miles, plus the Moon's diameter, that is 2,160, equals 10,080 statute miles. It is in turn equal to the number of minutes in a week. 7 days times 24 hours times 60 minutes will equal precisely 10,080 minutes in a week, or 4, that is the number of creation, times 2,520 will also equal 10,080 total minutes in 7 days. I want you to note that the creature, that is 1, plus the triune God, 3, equals 4, or 4, the creature, plus 3, the triune God, as well, will equal 7 times 360 will equal 2520. The sizes of Earth and Moon's radii, that is, the Moon 1080 and the Earth 3960, are equally related by a simple function of 3.14, that is pi, or 3 over 11, or 4 minus pi divided by pi when using 22 over 7 as the value for pi. Also pi, that is 3.142857, times 2520, that is the sacred cubit, will give you 7920, the mean diameter of the Earth in statute miles. Now I want you to pause and contemplate everything on this chart. These are divine measurements. They are there for a reason. The Earth is created by God Almighty, and the numbers attest to His glory, as well as the moon. The Earth and the moon radii equal 5040, the circle, and 2520, the divine fractions, are by design. Given that the radius of the moon is 3/11ths that of the Earth, 2160 is 3/11ths of 7920, that is the diameter of the Earth. Therefore, the sum of their radii can be broken into 3/14ths for the radius of the moon and 11/14ths for the radius of the Earth, or 3/14ths the moon's radius plus 11/14ths the Earth's radius will equal 14 over 14, of course. Furthermore, the sum of their radii in miles is 5040, or 1080 plus 3960 equals 5040, which when divided by 14 is 360, the number of degrees in a circle. This would not happen for another pair of objects with radii in the same ratio. It only happens when the sum of their, that is the moon and the Earth's, radii is 5040, and 5040 divided by 2 equals 2520, the divine cubit, the imprint of the divine upon creation. Now let's take a look at the physical dimensions of Earth and Moon. Again, Earth and Moon dimensions are based on 2520 and pi and 360. Let's see. 2520 minus 360 equals 2160, the diameter of the moon, or pi times 2160 equals 6,785.8401 statute miles. That is the lunar circumference, of course, of our moon. Now pi times 360 equals 1,130.9733 plus 6,784.840. That is the lunar circumference. Together they equal 7,916.8134 in statute miles, which is the diameter of the Earth plus pi, that is 3.14, will equal 7,920 statute miles, which is, of course, the diameter of the Earth's. Earth's temporal dimensions are based on 2520, pi, and 360 as well. Pi times 360 is equal to 1,130 plus 2,520 will equal 3,650 divided by 10 will equal 365 solar Earth years, days. 2,520 times pi will equal the circumference of the Earth, approximately 24,859 statute miles at Earth's poles. Pi in this case would equal to 3.14159,265, and so forth. Eratosthenes and the Sun and the Moon, Part 1. Eratosthenes, Alexandria's chief librarian, circa 240 BC, appointed by Ptolemy II Philadelphus. He calculated the size and distance of the Sun and the Moon using the sacred number of 2,520 and variations of 7 and 360. The Moon's statute mile diameter, 2520 minus 360, is equal to 2,160 miles, which is the diameter of the Moon. Now the distance of Earth to the Moon, 77.77 times pi 7 times, or 77.77 times pi 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 will equal 234,888 statute miles. The Moon's elliptical path distance varies. Greatest distance, the apogee, manifests Prisca Sampintian at 252,000 statute miles from the Earth, or, if you would, 2,520 times 100. Therefore, as we can see, the furthest distance of the Moon to the Earth at apogee is 252,000 statute miles, or 2,520 times 100 will equal 252,000 miles. The distance, therefore, between the Moon and the Earth bears testimony to the sacred cubit and the divine design. Part 2 of Eratosthenes' endeavors here. Taking the diameter of the Moon at 2160 statute miles, dividing it by 2 will give us its radius of 1,080 statute miles. 2,160 years is the length of a month in the zodiacal great year. 2,160, that is, the diameter of the Moon equals, in the great zodiacal 12 imagery, the length of, for example, the age of Pisces or the age of Aquarius. Each one of those ages constitutes approximately 2,160 years. The great, or the precessional age, one of 12 ages, is again 2,160 years. Now, 2,160 plus 360, that is prophetic year, or degrees in a circle, will equal 2,520. So each age of the zodiac, if you would, added to it 360, will give you the sacred cubit. The Moon, the great year, the precessional, the prophetic calendar of 360, and the sacred number of 2,520, that is, 7 times 360 will equal 2520, demonstrates the Almighty's superiority to all time and space at the conclusion of the age. In Revelation 12:1 we read, "Now a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a garland of 12 stars." Eratosthenes, the Sun and the Moon, Part 3. The mean diameter of the Sun is calculated by using the Prisca Sampintian number of, again, 2520. How is that? How do we determine the mean diameter of the sun by using 2520. 2520 times 7 times 7 times 7 equals to 864,360 plus 1,260, the radius of the moon. It will equal to 865,620 statute miles, which is NASA's, that is, the National Space Science Data Center's, within 50 nautical miles of the sun's diameter. Now note, again, 1,260 is 1/2 of 2,520. This is our last slide, the 5040 and the Sefer Yetzirah. The ancient Sefer Yetzirah is the book of the occult Kabbalah, or the book of formation. Special significance is given to the number 7. The cycle of 7 years, and the 7th is the release year, and after 7 release years is the Jubilee, or 7 times 7 equals 49, plus 1 would be the year of Jubilee, or 50. Newton realized the system of sevens was integral to prophetic time in Daniel and Revelation, dominates creation in Genesis, Israel's theological and civil structure in Exodus and Joshua, and its relationship to 5040 via multiplication of the first 7 numbers. Stones, 1 times 2, then equals 2, and then 2 stones. And the graphic translation of the Hebrew above is regarding these stones. 1 times 2 equals 2. 1 times 2 times 3 equals 6. 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 will equal 24. 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 equals 120. 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 times 6 equals 720. And 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 times 6 times 7, the number of completion, will equal to 5,040. This concludes video number 10. I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, this is your host narrating this, Doug Krieger, and we'll be moving on to video number 11. Thank you for viewing and listening.